Hello, hello! Episode 19 of Coach Cara's podcast, Itchy, Bitchy and Guests. And today we have a lovely Fiona D with us. Whoop whoop, let's hear it for Fiona!
Hi.
So we're going to have a chat today. This is Fiona's story, Fiona's journey. Fiona has lost nearly 40 kilos, so 39.1 kilograms of fat gone forever.
Forever, never.
Just by generally being awesome. But today we're going to speak about, Fiona's going to speak about how she's done that and some of the changes that she's made to her life and some of the changes that have happened to her life from losing nearly 40 kilos. Anyway, Fiona, give us a little introduction about yourself, please. Oh, and Jasper's here, by the way, as well.
Yeah, yes.
Woof, woof.
He likes me.
Fiona, give us a little introduction about yourself.
So, I am Fiona. I am 58. I am a mum of one grown-up girl who is 38 years old this year. I know I don't look it, never. You won't see that on the podcast, but you might if you're watching it on YouTube.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I'm married to Mark. We've been married a lot. We've been together a long time, and married for less time because we did everything around the wrong way. And then, what was I going to say? So I'm a holistic therapist, and I run my own business from my home in Alloa. Just really love life. Yeah, so that's a bit about me.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Right, so I'm going to ask Fiona some questions and we're just going to chat. So, Fiona, what made you decide to start losing fat?
You know, it's funny because I've been thinking about this since you asked me to come on the podcast?
That's all right.
The podcast. I think it probably comes from a year ago past February, I lost my mum. And she was super, super strong and super, super fit. She was strong physically and mentally. And there was two things that came from that. I started to question my own mortality, really.
Yes.
But also, I really wanted to be like her because, you know, in her latter years, she was the most amazing person that could still get off her seat, still pick up stuff, still do everything, still kneel down on the floor to fix things up. For goodness sake, if you dropped something, she would pick it up quicker than you could even register that it was there, because that's just the kind of person she was. She was so strong physically, but also mentally, because she had such resolve and joie de vivre, really. You know, she just was one of these people who just would try anything, loved everybody, kept everybody happy, without being a people pleaser, just because that was her disposition, you know what I mean? She was just like that. So I really felt like she was handing me the mantle and that I needed to take that on. So so I did. But the other thing around about that time was that Mark and I, as I say, have been together 38 years. And I was thinking, gosh, you know, that's a long time, and we're more than halfway through our life together. And so being more than halfway through our life together, I thought, you know, if we're really lucky, you know, I'm 58, we'll have another, we could have another 35 years. We could even have another 38 years together. He is a little bit younger than me. Only by a couple of years.
He's still punching though.
He is, of course he is. And we could have, that time together, and I wanted that to be the very best of times.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what got me through the door, so to speak. Because the first thing that I did was I did start myself to cut calories and stuff like that, but just, you know, myself. But then I went to CrossFit, to Ladies Who Lift, which you also run, and getting through that door was probably the hardest thing. I honestly, that Saturday morning, I remember it was the 4th of April 2024, and I had kind of set myself up for that, and this might sound ridiculous, but you know, one thing that put me off going to do exercise was that my hair was always ridiculous in the morning. And I know that sounds mad, but it was just so, my hair's kind of curly, kind of not. So I went and got a perm.
Fair.
Because then there would be no excuse for my hair being a mess in the morning.
Yeah.
Because it was like curly, and that was it. So that got that excuse out of the way. I raked out old gym clothes. I wasn't going to go and buy any new ones because I didn't want to give myself that. You know, you get that. I'm going to the gym tomorrow. I'm going to start a whole new life.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out to blooming, I don't know, wherever, Tesco, Next, wherever you, Lululemon, whatever you floats your boat, and buy a whole load of new gym gear and new trainers and just do all of that. Yeah, I just thought, no, I'm just not doing that.
Yeah,
So I
fair
raked
enough.
out old stuff. Thought, yeah, I can do this. Oh, the biggest sweatshirt I could find to cover myself up because I was so embarrassed that I had about 1 million spare tyres. Not realising that I would get so warm that I had to take it off and show all my spare tyres. But I immediately felt comfortable. There was a whole lot of I'm not doing that and I'm not doing that. But actually going through the door, it made me feel, well, I came back the next day.
Yeah.
Well, not the next day. I came back on the Monday. And I really enjoyed it. And that was quite a novel thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I got started. That was my motivation. But what kept me there and kept me and help me build discipline? Well, I'm not really sure where that was, but I did find a quote the other day and I thought, you know, that's what it is for me. And so I'm just going to look it up because I might forget it. And it was by Rumi, who is a real spiritual guy. And he said, as you start to walk on the way appears. Clarity doesn't come before action, it comes from action.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started to come like 3 times a week. And then I started to do the whole thing of, well, actually, I need to prepare myself for this. So I would lay my clothes out the night before. And I have a chair in my bedroom. And
My heart is singing, by the way, like everybody that's listening. My heart is singing here.
And so I would lay out absolutely everything. You know, from my sweatshirt to my, excuse me, I need to blow my nose for those of you that are watching this on camera, sorry. And those of you who are listening. I started to lay my clothes out. So everything from the jacket that I would be putting on to the sweatshirt to my trainers sitting at the side of my chair, absolutely right down to my knickers.
Let's talk about pants in a minute.
We'll talk about right down to my knickers. Do you know I still do that? Every single night before the gym. I set out all of my stuff so that when I get up in the morning, there is no barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was another mindset shift.
So your hair was a barrier.
My hair was a barrier. The clothes, because
Being
I didn't
organised.
have being organised,
Yeah.
and also not having the getting out of my bed was never. So here's the thing: my husband's always got up early for work, so there was always activity in the house in the morning, and I would sometimes get up and then just go back to my bed with a cuppa or whatever like that. So the getting up in the morning thing has not been hard for me. The going to the bed early has.
Yeah.
That's been difficult because I found after about, I don't know, a month or so in of going 3 times a week and consistently going 3 times a week, that actually I couldn't do it because I was too tired. So what was I going to do? Was I going to stop the gym? In the past I probably would have done that. I would have said, I can only go twice a week because I'm too tired. I thought, okay. And I was listening to your the stuff that you say on social media, you know, all that stuff about go to your bed early and all these things. And actually, you know, I've always had this really good bedtime routine. The problem was it was at 11:45.
Yeah, it wasn't early enough.
Yeah. And so I started thinking, you know what am I doing at night? I'm working. Or I'm doing other things for other people. And actually, it's time I did things for myself.
Yep.
So I just decided that I was going to give up doing some of the volunteering work that I've done for a long time. Now, that was hard because it was a real love of mine. But I just decided that I had to, because actually I needed to do things for me.
Absolutely.
And I was starting to see some rewards, like I was feeling a little bit more springy in my step. I mean, and by this time, because I'd been calorie counting and things like that, and using my fitness pal myself, I had lost quite a bit of weight. You know, so maybe 6 to 8 weeks in, I'd lost more than a stone. So you know that was it was a motivator, right?
Yeah,
because
of
things
course.
were starting to feel not even loose, but things were starting to fit.
Yeah.
Because you get, you know, when you're a size, because I was size 24, right? When you're a size 24, you try to squeeze yourself into things that are clothes are much better now made for people who are larger.
Yeah.
But they used to just be like another, like in necks and things like that. Size 24 is just the same clothes as you wore as a size 16, except it's an inch bigger, or 2 inches bigger, 3 inches bigger. So I'd squeeze myself in. So my clothes would start to fit. And I'd start to feel good at myself. So it made me want to keep going. I think I've kind of gone off way on a track here.
Oh, that's okay. We can do tangents. It's cool.
But I started to, feel good and think, oh, maybe I could do more. So then I started to walk a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And so, going to bed early. That's what it was. So I started going to bed early. It was a revelation. So
life changing.
It was actually
something so simple.
I know, it's funny because now I shut my shutters in my bedroom at like 9 o'clock, and I remind myself and I laugh to myself of my daughter saying to me, "But mummy, it's not dark outside," in the summer. And she was little. I'd say, "Yes, but it's still bedtime," and I do that to myself, and I'd actually say that to myself at night when everyone shut my shutters, going, "But it's still bedtime." These summer nights that we long for.
Yes.
Now I'm shutting them away. Yeah. Probably 6 nights out of 7. And even on a Saturday night, I'm like, yeah, I just need to go to bed. Yeah. So I'm falling asleep, but still wanting to be up. Anyway, and I go to bed. And so I don't go to bed at 9 o'clock, but I go upstairs, I shut my shutters, I put my bed down, I have a shower, I do all my, I put cream on my body, I put cream on obviously, skin is my thing, so I always look after my skin on my face as well. Do my whole nighttime routine of that, get my magnesium on my feet, have a wee glass of water, something I would never done before I go to bed, and then snuggle in my bed with my book, or sometimes my journal. If I've not already been at it, I usually do that in the morning, to be honest, and read about 1.5 pages, and then I'm like, oh, I need to go to sleep, and that's me, and I'm sound asleep. And I also set the room up because Mark comes to bed about an hour later than me, so it's just his, and we've got tiny little bulbs in our bedside lights. They're almost like kiddies' night lights. The bulbs that I think maybe 10 watt or something like that. They're really, really, and it's enough light for him to come in and go to bed. And I've already got all his bedside set up. I know it's a bit like, I'm looking after him, but that's important to me. So his side of the bed is all ready, so he just needs to come in, take his clothes off and fall in the bed, because he uses the bathroom downstairs and all these sort of things. Now, I drink loads of water, so I do get up during the middle of the night, sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times. But I now have absolutely mastered getting into my own suite without putting the light on and coming back, so I just fall asleep right away again. Yeah. So my sleep is amazing, and that has really helped to motivate me, because when I wake up in the morning, I wake up with a spring in my step. I know you don't wake up with a spring in your step because you're not, but I quite happily just jump out of bed.
I was going to say, because you're looking forward to the day ahead.
I am.
So, and how's that different from how you used to feel when you woke up?
Well, first of all, I could barely get myself out of my bed.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so I'd have to roll
on my side. So physically it was more difficult.
It was more difficult, but mentally, it was, I love my job, so it was never, I'm very fortunate that I love what I do. I run my own business, so all of these things, it wasn't hard to get up to work. However, it was never as, I would find myself rushing around to get ready for work in the morning because I'd left it so late, whereas now I'm laughing at myself when I'm sitting ready at like 8 o'clock, even if I'm not at the gym. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm ready for work, I'm not starting until 11:30. That seems weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So more motivated in general with life.
With life, yeah. I love life. I just actually feel like it's a whole new world. And I don't really like motivation as a word, because I agree with you that motivation lasts about 5 minutes. Yeah.
And it comes and goes.
It does. And people say to me, you must be so motivated to get to the gym. I'm like, no, I lie in my bed just like you two and go, really?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. Do I have to get up this morning? Do I have, especially in the dark mornings when you can hear the wind and the rain, or because you can see that little brightness. We've got shutters in our bedroom, but you can still see that little brightness in January that shows you that it's snowing outside, and you're like, oh no, really? I'm waiting to go to a freezing cold gym.
Yeah. So you're disciplined to go to the gym as opposed to
absolutely disciplined. And I'm proud of the fact that for 14 months, unless I've been on holiday, there's only been one day that I haven't gone when I've not been feeling well.
Mm-hmm.
I even came after I tore my hamstring.
Yeah, and have continued
And
to
had
come for
a
the last
shoulder
couple
injury.
of months. Yep.
Because actually for me, that coming, I don't want to stop coming. And it's quite funny because I'm going on holiday for 3 weeks, as you know. And I'm already like, I'm going to miss the gym.
Going to miss the gym.
And I thought, I would never have said that before. That wasn't even in my vocabulary.
No.
It would be like,
well, yeah.
yes, 3 weeks off the gym. See you, suckers. You know, and now I'm like, what am I going to miss?
So do you think the gym will always be in your life now? Or
Yes.
lifting weights of some
Yes,
sort will always be in your
absolutely.
life?
I can't ever imagine not going to the gym.
It's mad, isn't it?
It is mad.
Because I've been in that situation as well,
I
definitely.
could never, before, take me back 2 years, I couldn't imagine going to the gym. Never mind for women.
Yeah, let alone everything else.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I've been members of, I've joined gyms, I've paid hundreds of pounds over the year and gone 5 times. Can't tell you how many gyms I've been to or been a member of, or how many programs I've signed up for.
Yeah.
But I've never had that discipline, and there's another word for that. I don't know. I actually want to go. There was a time where I did a whole load of spin classes for quite a long time, and then something really.
I do like a spin.
We have a Peloton bike in the house, and I do love doing it. And I went to spin class for quite probably about 6 or 9 months, and I lost quite a lot of weight. But it was that whole you can't out-train a bad diet thing. Yeah, and so I did lose weight, but I never really, my shape didn't change like it was. I mean, now at 39.1 kilos, I've not seen this shape in my body and this size for about 25 years.
Which is pretty
standard. It is. Yeah. I was looking back photographs of when was I last this size. I think 25 years.
But because you're lifting weights as well, you're building muscle as well as losing fat, which is quite hard, by the way, people, but it is doable, absolutely.
Yeah, I am building muscle as well as losing fat, and it's definitely, and that's what's changing my shape. My posture's different.
Yeah.
Everything's different. My body's sore. Don't get me wrong. I go for sports massage every 2 weeks because that's what keeps me.
But how were you still sore when you were carrying an extra 39.1 kilograms? Like
sore.
How were your knees?
So, well, yeah. Okay,
we're going to get to that. People, there's a knee story.
I was seeing a surgeon at Kings Park Hospital about my knees because I needed to have cortisone injections to keep me going. Yeah. Because I was in so much pain with my knees. I could barely get up and down. Walking up and down stairs was horrendous. And now, so I think I've spoken to you about this recently. About 2 weeks into CrossFit, I went to meet my daughter at the top of the Scotsman Steps out the back of Edinburgh train station.
Yeah.
And I was about dead when I got to the top. And recently I met a friend at the top of the steps. And I ran up them.
Wow.
And I could, not ran, but I went fast.
Yeah.
Up the steps. And I could actually breathe when I got to the top, and my knees were intact. I have to say, and I know this isn't for everyone, because some people's knees are I'm bone on my knees.
Yeah.
I can skip. I can do all sorts of exercises. I have to adapt things because I do, I squat to a bench and things like that because I can't get right down as far because it's just too much pressure on my knees with a heavy weight on my back. Yeah. I can do it without. I can air squat and things like that now. I could never have done that before. The strength around my knees now is almost unbelievable.
Yeah,
I would never have believed, of all of the things that I get pain with, it's not my knees. Now, touch wood, because I know that they are in a state, it is arthritis. But, without carrying that extra 39.1 kilograms, it's amazing. And actually, it's been like that since about 20 kilograms.
Yeah.
The skipping, the jumping, the stepping up. I mean,
The
Yeah.
squatting. So we've just done a 10-week squat programme, by the way, everybody, at CrossFit, at Ladies That Lift. So Fiona does what we call a box squat, which is we squat to a bench or a box, all right? So it stops us getting below parallel, but it also takes the pressure off the knees slightly. So 10 weeks ago, Fiona, your 1 rep max box squat was
40 kilograms.
And what did you squat today?
62.5. Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty mad, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it's absolutely
However,
mental.
that building program really does work, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what you do it for, obviously, isn't it? Because then you realise that actually you're selling yourself short.
Yeah.
Because
But how much have we whinged over the last 10 weeks about
A lot.
20 reps? Yeah, we've all done it. I've done it as well. 20 reps of a back squat is awful, by the way, especially when you build every week. But that is the outcome.
Can't tell you how many eye rolls there've been.
I've seen them all. I've seen them all.
I know. But yeah, it was, yeah, so I guess that's that story. But you were talking about pants.
I was talking about pants, but just to clarify as well, so you were in the position that you were possibly going to have to go and get a knee replacement.
I was.
And
absolutely.
you're not. Now, has the surgeon told you that he doesn't want to see you again?
Yes, he does. He doesn't want to see me
Which
again.
is amazing.
And here's the thing, right? My mum always told me not to get them because she had a knee replacement when she held off till she was 81.
Right, okay. Which
Because
is quite
she kept-
late, to be fair.
Well, she kept holding off because you can't kneel.
Yeah.
And you can't really comprehend how debilitating that is
Yep.
until you really can't kneel. I mean, you can't kneel with sore knees because they hurt.
Yeah.
But when you've had a knee replacement, you can't because you can push it out. So, and how
Yeah.
do you want that? So, yeah, I'm so proud of that, I have to say.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the greatest achievements for me, is being able to, when we went to things like holidays. So I don't like looking back, because when you look back,
You're not going that way.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it's good as a
But
comparison. It's
it
good to
is a
see
good
how far
comparison.
you've come, as opposed to you're never going to go back
so
that
a
way.
year and a half ago, Mark and I went to Lanzarote. We always go in November. So a year and a half ago we went, so that would be November 23.
Mm-hmm.
And I could barely walk
Oh, really?
because it was hot. I had major chub rub. I mean, I still have chub rub.
I still have chub rub too, by the way.
but
That's an
major
actual girl
chub rub
thing.
because it was so hot. But also couldn't carry messages or anything like that. And Mark would go to the shops himself, and then we would just go and do different things. I know, because we stayed in a self-catering place because that's what we like to do. But last year we went, and I think I walked something like, it was something crazy, like over the 14 days, something like 150 miles.
Which is mental.
I know, because I wanted to keep moving because I wasn't able to go to the gym. And then we went to Amsterdam in April. No, February. Went to Amsterdam in February. And over 3 days, walked 58 kilometres.
Yeah, which is mad. Whereas you would never have done that.
So this is how it's changed my life. Because my husband could walk for miles. And so now I'm walking. And the other thing is, I generally, and he's 6'2", walk at his pace now. Yeah.
Sorry, just to clarify, you are
5'2". Yeah. And so
there's quite a big difference.
and I used to say to Mark, could you slow down? And he's like, Fiona, if I slow down anymore, I'm going to fall over.
Yeah.
And so he would be totally sauntering while I was sauntering. But now I'm like got a real march in my step, and I like it.
Yeah.
And
So it is life changing.
Yeah, it is life changing.
It's
Totally.
mental, isn't it? Anyway, pants. Let's speak about pants. So Fiona, the CrossFit Novice, is that right? Is that your Instagram handle? Fiona the CrossFit Novice posted a reel, or a post yesterday on Instagram about pants. Well, it wasn't about pants. It was about a change in body shape, but we also had this conversation about pants. So previous to this adventure that Fiona has been on, you would have kept all your old clothes, would you? That didn't fit you.
Absolutely.
And why would you have kept them?
Because I might put the weight back on again.
And are you going to put the weight back on again?
Absolutely not.
So what have you done?
I've thrown them out.
Yay!
And it was hilarious because it was about the pants, right?
It was
'Cause
about the pants.
I've sold quite a lot of my clothes on
But not your pants.
but not my pants. I don't know why. I think, buying nice pants are quite expensive, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. So last week I just threw them all in the bin. It was Thursday night. Just opened up the bin and thought, well, I opened up my drawer to put my pants that are the pants that I have.
Your current pants.
My current pants. They're not even my current pants because they're now my old current pants. Because that was the thing, because they were my size 18 pants. And I had, I still had to keep some of them because Marks and Spencer's are out of stock because they've got all this problem just now with the
right,
repos.
okay.
So I was only able to get 4 pairs of pants, and I need more than that in a week.
Very true, very true.
So, I've had to keep some of my size 18 pants, but I still had so I was putting my size 18 pants away, but I still had my size 20 pants, and my 22 pants, my size 24 pants. And actually, they actually just fall down. They don't even stay up, so I don't know why I was keeping both of them. But that's what I was doing.
Because you might put the weight back on again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that a security thing? But is it like your little security blanket?
I guess so. I was about thinking, well, what if they get too tight? And here's the thing, right? They're not going to get too tight.
No.
Because, well, pants are flexible for a start, but they're not, because that part of my life's gone.
So, on that note, so if you were holding on to big pants for a wee while for a security blanket, which you can totally understand, and it is quite common, I've done it myself in the past, it's quite common to hold on to your big clothes in case you get big again, or whatever word you want to use that. But, yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say. Something about mindset, something about security, something about life changing. Well, I'm just going to let Fiona chat because I'm having a.
And I'll come back to it. But I was going to say, the other thing is that, people saying, well, there's quite a lot of things that I have that I really love.
Yep, carry on.
And so I say, people saying, well, why don't you get them altered? And I'm like, nah. Because it reminds me of being bigger. And there's some dresses I have that even Mark said to me the other day, but that still looks great on you. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not wearing it.
Yeah.
Because, and actually now, the real difference is, and this is probably the same for a lot of people, you lose weight from the top down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now things are so big on the shoulders. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because my shoulders are tiny compared to, I've gone back to being, I am small framed, I'm a little person.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I've gone back to being really small. Interestingly, from my shoulders down to sort of about my torso, and then from my feet up to my knees, because I've got, most of my shoes don't fit me.
So there's a couple of surprise things about fat loss. So when you lose fat, we all do it, women especially, when we look in the mirror, we want our hips to be narrower, we want our tummy to be flatter,
that's the last thing
and we want our bum to be smaller usually. But nobody tells you that it's quite reasonable to drop a shoe size.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also you get surprise parts of your body, like shoulders. Like you press your shoulders and you're like, bloody hell, I can feel bone through that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
it's like surprise benefits from fat loss.
That is thoroughly, and here as well, I'm saying here, you can't see it if you're on a podcast.
Pecs, ladies, pecs!
Yeah, and your decollete bit across the front of your neck, that's where it's all come from.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Which is nice if you've got a lower cut top on and stuff. Absolutely, as well.
But
do you know what I mean?
But here's the other thing. My body's not perfect. I mean, I've still got a long way to go. Whose body is perfect? Nobody's. But when you're doing something about it and doing stuff with it, you're quite happy to show it. I still have rolls. And they show up in the pictures in the gym and stuff like that. Although I've noticed that people learn to fold their arms across their tummy, and I'm just pretty useless at that. I always put it on my knee. Just showing it all. I don't care about that anymore.
No.
Because, are you in the gym?
Exactly. It's a confidence thing as well, though, isn't
Absolutely.
it? So
I've never had that.
When you start any kind of journey, like fat loss or strength training or any of those two things, I think, like a lot of women especially, right, think to themselves, I can't start my life till I've lost a stone, or I can't start my life until I'm not going to do that until the scale says this way. Whereas in fact, see the minute you make the decision to look after yourself, do you not think your confidence increases? Not like through the roof, it doesn't rocket.
No.
But you get a little bit of confidence the minute you make that decision that you're going to put yourself first.
Yeah. It took me a wee while to say to people,
it's amazing,
I go to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now, and then I said that to you last week, I mean, like, what's your hobby? Where was I? I can't even remember where it was. And they said to me, and what's your hobby? I said, CrossFit. I was like, who is that person?
Where did that come
Where
from?
did that come from? Did that actually come out of my mouth?
Yeah.
Because I absolutely did. Because it is my hobby.
Because you're a CrossFit.
How can you possibly say to go at something now 5 times a week and it not be your hobby?
Exactly.
You couldn't do that if you hated it, and you couldn't do that if you weren't disciplined enough, because here's the thing, you just wouldn't show up days.
No, you wouldn't. So how has training in the gym with a group of like-minded women enhanced your life?
Well, massively.
Oh, well.
Massively. So I worked with a great coach before I started working with you.
Yep.
And, you know, she taught me lots of great stuff and great techniques and things like that. But for me, I didn't get that whole, I don't know, I think it's like a sisterhood almost, right?
Yeah.
It is, it's your tribe, your sisterhood, or whatever it is. These women are some of my great friends now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in a year and a half, Lynn, who I train with every single, well, you know, we're mostly in ward buddies, we live together and things like that. I mean, her and I are great friends. And I wouldn't have met her if it didn't come.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
We're funny because we're similar and maybe it
These
shouldn't
are
work.
hilarious.
But it does work and we're great friends and we really enjoy it. And we enjoy working together. Well, I'm speaking for her. She might say absolutely not.
well, no, I'm only joking.
However,
I'm only joking.
but you know, but the whole crowd, everybody, there are so many lovely people. And everybody who isn't looking out for, like, it's not going, oh, you know, it's not competitive. It's nice. It's a lovely, supportive atmosphere where, and all of the other social stuff that goes with it as well. It's suddenly like, you know, you're training with people who want you to succeed.
Yeah. Yes. So, and yous are all very different. As much as yous are all like midlife, so it's age 45 plus, right? But it's 45, I think.
Liz is 65.
Liz is 65 and awesome, by the way. But yous are all so different. Some people have got young kids, some people have got older kids, some people have got no kids, some people work, some people are retired, some people part-time, full-time, blah, 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 blah. And you've all had, like, obviously different lives. But for some reason...
Well, we have that one thing in common.
Yeah.
And I think that's what lifting weights and things does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives you that. Because it's, you know, it's different from other sport. Because you kind of need people to cheer you on, don't you?
Yeah. I think, like you said, you know, you trained before with a coach, and you trained not in a group, and some people do like that. That's why you get PT coaches and stuff like that. It's not for me, I must admit, but it's just about finding your thing. I think,
and the community,
the community
is a really nice thing. And I know that's CrossFit's big in that.
Yeah.
So and ladies who lift as well. Just I guess. I've never been in a... Well, that's not true because I'm a member of Girl Guiding, and so I understand the power of women. Yeah, and how important it is to have other women having your back.
Yeah.
I totally understand that and know how powerful that can be.
Yeah.
And that's so basically my life, in my volunteering life that I've had since I was 18 years old, and actually since I was 7. Here's it now replicated in the gym.
Yeah. Because you understand.
Women have your back.
Yeah.
And the power of women supporting women. Because it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, so the community that Fiona's talking about, it came about, obviously we all trained together, but I was speaking to Joe the other day, and so when we were in the old gym, the ladies used to train on a Saturday, and then they would stand outside and chat for about 40 minutes, and then Pauline, who I'm just about to land Pauline right in it here, I'm actually going to ask Pauline to come on as well, because Pauline has her own perimenal story, but Pauline had said, why don't we just go for a coffee? So he's all started going for a coffee on a Saturday morning. So if you're ever in Starbucks in Falkirk on a Saturday morning about 8:30,
round the big table,
don't be intimidated by the women, go and say hi to them because they're amazing. But that's how that started, and then from the coffee every morning, every Saturday that you do, we've had some social events as well. So we've had some socials, we've had Jupiter Artland,
we go to the bungee swing. Which
we've done bungee fly a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yep. We've been to the pub. We've got a cowboy hoedown.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a summer social organised. We've got potentially a ladies that lift competition organised. We're doing cocktail week.
Yeah.
We've got Christmas socials.
We support each other with the things that are going on in our own lives as well. Different fundraisers and things like that. Like Lindsay, she's climbing to Everest Base Camp, so we do all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
For Strathcarron Hospital, Mandy's just ran a marathon. Liz did our super long walk. You and Lynn did 5Ks. So yeah, there's loads of stuff outside the gym. I want to revisit one thing that you said earlier when you first came to the gym and you dug out your biggest clothes, right, your biggest sweatshirt, and then realised that, oh my god, I'm actually working, I'm actually going to have to take this off. But there was a lot of, I can't.
Yeah, I know. That's my
Would you
favourite
agree?
phrase. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. And I really thought I couldn't. But you know what? I don't say that anymore. I just say, I'll have a go.
You don't say that anymore. So I heard you saying it in the gym, obviously, to the extent that you were struggling to get on a bench, remember, at one point, or get off the bench. Now you can do that on your own. That absolutely. Is amazing. But if you were saying I can, like to me and to the ladies in the last 18 months or however long, what have you said that about previously? So not in the gym. So in is there any social events that you can remember that you've been asked to that you've just went no?
Anything that involved anything physical, to be honest. You know, so things like the worst thing. So I am a wild swimmer.
Yes.
But anything that involves having to put a wetsuit on, absolutely not a chance. Yeah, because it was just too much. It was just, you know, it's that whole almost embarrassment of saying, if you got a bigger size.
Right,
or if you got this, I need a men's one, or things like that. So, not that there's any issue, but for me, that was personally, you know, if you can do that, then that's great, you know, fill your boots. But for me personally, that was a huge issue. That was the size. I spent a lot of time being abseiling when I was younger.
Oh, right, okay.
But now, that's why I can get the blooming thing on it.
Bungee fly.
Yeah. But then for a long time I stopped doing it because I didn't want to ask if I could have the instructor's harness.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Because, so a lot of these things, I mean, now I just say, yeah. And actually, that is the confidence, because I'm still a big girl, so I'd still need a bigger harness. But it's just okay. Well, the bungee fly is a typical example.
Yes, the bungee fly is an example. So there's a weight.
There was a weight limit. Well, there isn't a weight limit. There's a weight limit if you're over 16 stone.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So if they're over 16 stone, they can only take 9 people in the class as opposed to 10 because they need to use 2.
Right, okay, 2 bungees. Yeah.
I would never have gone to that because it would have been too embarrassing for me.
Yeah.
To do that. And so the change for me then, and also I probably couldn't. Could I have done it? Mentally, no. I would have said no. Physically,
and it is about mindset though as well. It's our mindset physically, that stops us doing a lot of things. I could
have done it physically if I tried.
But you probably wouldn't have tried.
I would never have got there because I wouldn't even have gone. Because the fact, you know, whereas being able to go there, now, yes, I have more ties than everybody else, you know, they tell you need, because when you get on the scales, right, and that's the other thing, you have to go on the scales.
Yeah,
and I'm quite happy to step on the scales and say, I know what's going to happen there. And they'll say, oh yeah, you need 11, because they put the different ropes on, don't they, depending on what it is. But I'm not embarrassed by that.
No.
And you know why I'm not embarrassed by that? Because
you're fucking awesome.
Well, no. Well, I am. But that's not why. I'm not embarrassed by it because I've made a choice that I want to change that. Yeah?
High five. High five. Right, I'm going to ask you a question. Right, I haven't asked Fiona if I can share this story, all right? But so, yeah, anyway. Right, this goes back to mindset and just what you were saying there just now about feeling judged maybe in certain situations.
Yes. Okay.
So we had a conversation the other week. Fiona's going to Canada. Yeah. So Fiona was telling me about Canadian pies.
Yeah.
Right, and how awesome they are. And there was cherry and peach and
banana cream.
And banana cream, that was it, right? So last time you were in Canada was how long ago?
2019.
And how much heavier were you than you are now?
Oh, well, at least
39.1 kilos.
Right. Kilos.
And you didn't have the pies.
Well, I had a bit, but
I'd always be hiding.
I'd be hiding.
And why were you hiding?
Because I thought folk would say, who's that fat eating pies?
what are you going to do this time you go to Canada?
Eat the pies.
You're going to eat all the pies!
Well, and that's because I know that when I come back, I will be heavier, but it's only temporary because I've not put all that fat on.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to get on the scales. I'm probably going to be, I reckon, somewhere between 10 and 12 pounds heavier the day I come back.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's quite realistic,
Because
to be fair.
I've now experienced holidays being on a calorie deficit.
Yep.
And even not being able to. So I know I'm going to probably be about 10 or 12 pounds heavier. But I'm going to get right back in it. I've already prepared all of my breakfasts.
She has, by the
They're
way.
in the freezer, so that when I come back on the first morning from off the plane, jet lagged, I'm going to come home, I'm going to open the blooming freezer, I'm going to stick a bit of blooming baked oats in the air fryer and cook it from frozen. Don't know what it's going to be like, because I've never frozen it before, but I'm
we'll
sure
try
it's
it.
cake, right? So I'm sure it'll be okay. And I'm going to get right back on it. Probably still have a pizza for my dinner, because I'll be...
I always have a pizza the day I
I'll
come
be
back
too
on
tired
holidays.
to cook
Yep.
by the time it comes to tea time. However, it's more for the Monday morning, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that I'm right back on it on the Monday morning, because... And I'll be in a CrossFit as well. Because for me, I know that within about 2 weeks it'll be off again.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. 2 to 3 weeks, and this is a problem a lot of the time, that when
Yeah.
people come back their holidays and they step on the scale. So, like, between 7 and 10 pounds is the average scale weight gain for a holiday, especially because you should enjoy yourself on holiday, right? Yeah, you just sack everything off and have the best time. But the problem is that when people see that increase on the scales, that they just think, ah, well, I fucked it now, and then they don't make any effort. Whereas if
I would have thought that.
Yeah, 100%.
Until I remember when the first holiday, the real holiday, I went to Copenhagen in the summer last year, and you said to me, "You'll be heavier when you come back, but you just need to hold your nerve. You'll be okay."
You will be.
And I was like, when I got back, when I got on the scales, I was 10 pounds heavier. Now, I'd only been away for 5 days. I was like, how could that possibly be? But I had eaten like the best food.
Yep.
Had quite a lot of wine. In fact, loads of wine.
Loads of wine.
Had eaten, had drunk not enough water.
Yep.
Yeah. Hadn't had any sleep, hardly, because I was going to bed at midnight and being up at 6 and all that sort of stuff. And so it was really, really, it was obvious. The minute I got back into routine, that was it. When I went to Lanzarote, it was the same. And, well, because I came back from Lanzarote in right at the start of December, and I still managed to get back on it and lose before Christmas, before I went on my holiday, my maintenance for Christmas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm quite, and I'm, because I'm going away right after I come back. I'm only back for 10 days and then I'm going to guide camp.
Yeah.
So, but guide camp, well, yeah, that's for that. It's not so much the food that'll eat there, it's the. We were talking about this the other day as well. Is that sorry, I'm going to blow my nose. This is very unprofessional. But
that's okay. My alarm usually goes off, to be fair, so my alarm hasn't went off today.
It's that whole I'm catering for 100 people, and it's that whole knife swipe, and I'll just have a bit of that cheese.
I was going to say, when you're grating all
it's
the
going
cheese
to be the
stuff,
greatest discipline, which I probably won't have all of the time. So I know
No,
that
of course you won't.
because grating all that cheese, you are going to eat some, because it's just the best. Cheese is my favourite thing. It's the thing that, when I reach my ultimate goal, which I've no idea what that is, I am having the biggest bit of blue cheese split over digestive biscuits. That's going to be my celebration with butter on them.
Nice.
Some people go out and get smashed, stuff like that.
Can I come too?
Yeah, of course you can.
Excellent.
I'm having digestive biscuits, butter, and blue cheese. That whole sweet and savoury, salty thing is just like, oh my god.
Cheese is
amazing. So excited by it.
So 2 final questions for you. Second last question. If you could sum up how you've changed your life, or how your life has changed in the last year in a short sentence.
Oh,
I've just put it on the spot, by the way.
Yeah, you didn't give me this one.
I didn't. I like to win.
If I could sum up how my life has changed in the last year in one sentence.
I'll let you off with a couple of sentences.
There's no comparison.
Oh, there is a short sentence. There's no comparison. And the last question is, if somebody came to you that wanted to change their life and didn't know what to do, what would you say to them? This is not a plug, by the way. This is genuinely not a plug.
I would say get a coach. It doesn't matter what you want to change your life in. If it's something in your life, then you need to get a business coach
which I have.
and I've had one, you know, or get a.
You had a business coach.
I am kind of.
Yeah.
A life coach of some way. I mean, I don't. Life coaches kind of I find are a bit twee and twiggly, but you know. But sometimes people need somebody to guide them, or a therapist.
Or a counsellor or something.
Yeah, find a counsellor or a gym coach or any kind. Get somebody who it is their business, their knowledge, their forte to help you get to where you need to be.
So if you want to do something and you don't know how to do it, don't let that stop you.
Absolutely not.
Go and get somebody that can help you.
Don't let it stop you. And actually, don't say tomorrow. Do it now. Because I did it. For my whole life I said I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't cry now.
No, it's okay, you're allowed to cry.
Because it means, honestly, I can't even, when I said there's no comparison, I really mean that.
There's no comparison.
I feel like a different person, mentally and physically.
I'm going to cry in a minute as well.
Because it's just been such a journey. And it's not over, right? And that's the whole thing, right? I've got a long way to go.
But are you enjoying it while you do it?
Well, here's the thing. It's not, this might sound ridiculous, saying it's not hard work, because the last few weeks on a really high calorie deficit has been because I've taken quite a big calorie deficit, well, you know, because you're my coach, right? So, because I want to reach this goal really badly.
Yeah.
So, I've done that. So it's been hard, but it's not horrible. It's great. And I love it. Absolutely. And everybody that knows me that's listening to this goes, oh Christ, she's greeting again.
It's alright. I've cried in the podcast, it's cool.
But you know, yeah.
Yeah. Banging. Fiona D, everybody. And
Thanks,
also, sorry, what's your mum's name?
Freda.
Freda passed the mantle. Fiona has honoured her by changing, I'm going to get you know, to accept said mantle. Alright. Fiona, thank you very much. We're going to have a cuddle now and go away, alright? Episode 19 of Itchy, Bitchy and Guest, Coach Caris, with the lovely, amazing Fiona Dale, 39.1 fucking kilograms, people! See you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.